All right. I think we're live. I think we're good. No, maybe not yet. Maybe not totally live. Let's see. All right. Not quite live. Not just yet. We'll keep trying here. We'll give things just a second to populate. I thought we were good, but we might not be at the moment. Okay. If anybody's popping in at all, if you could chat, just let me know it's working. That would be fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. That would be great. I also don't think I have the chat working on in OBS, so you're not gonna see your chat on screen, but I will know you chatted. There's still a lot of things that are strange with YouTube and OBS. We'll get there. We'll get there for sure, but right now, just not happening. That's okay. Okay. So I want to get to the manage screen. Wherever that was, that's what I feel like I need here. Can I get rid of that? That's just my dash. Interesting. Anybody with me? I'm just testing stuff. I'm hoping somebody can hear this. Okay. I think we're fully live and good to go. I do. There's a small chance that we're not. There's a small chance things are broken. But we're just gonna go from here. Save. Okay. Alright. We're gonna assume that we're good. So, hello, welcome aboard. My name is Blue Mustang. I am just doing a quick random stream, bored on a Thursday. The kids are out working, doing their thing, so this is kind of prime streaming. I didn't want to hop into a game. I'm not feeling a game right now. I want to save that for when my brother and sister get home. So we're gonna just kind of do a random game stream. I've been in the process of actually creating my my favorite games of all time list. Here, I'll put this at a dark mode really quick. So I've actually got a huge list going on here that I'm showing you guys here on the screen now. Got a whole Google sheet just filling this up with as many games as possible. Right now I have 167 here on my kind of catch-all column, and I've slowly been sorting them in here, and then my ultimate goal is to get them into the GG app. And if you don't know what the GG app is, I do use their Elite service. I'm not sponsored by them. I enjoy their service a lot. It's kind of the way that I've been trying to keep track over the last couple of years of the games I'm playing. But you actually can create lists on here, share them with your friends, kind of log what you're playing. You can use it as a collection inventory, really anything like that at all. And I've got like the Call of Duty campaigns, playing through those on stream. So I have a list for those. But then I have this all-time favorites list that I am just slowly trying to add to and make. This just is good presentation in my opinion. This looks awesome. And I play a lot of games. Why not create opinions? But to do that, I just wanted to kind of remind myself of games, really think about where things are. So I went on to Tier Maker and I've just found a random ass video game list. And I am, simply put, just going to start kind of sorting through games that I've played. There's going to be a lot on here that I have not played. This is somebody else's list. They put their own games on here. I just kind of found one with a lot of games on it. It looks like we're close to 200 on here, maybe a little bit less, but this will give me a good kind of point of reference as I build the list further. So I just want to kind of bring things around. There are some games that I have played and then I just have not played enough of. Gears 5, for example, being one of them. I have played through, I think, the first 2 kind of story missions with Aggression, and that went well. I've done some online, maybe about 10 or 15 matches in total, and I did like Gears 5 a lot, but I do not feel comfortable saying that it goes in any tier, so I'm going to put it in haven't played. Rainbow Six Siege, I've played a little bit more of. I'm going to put that in a C tier. It's not my kind of game. I think it's a really well-made game, but it's just not my kind of game. I'm not into the tactical shooters as much as I probably should be, considering my favorite Call of Duty mode is like Search and Destroy, but that's okay. I'll put Rainbow Six Siege in the C tier. Have not played Chinatown Wars. Don't feel like I have an opinion on Vice City, so I'm not going to worry about that. Same thing with God of War Ascension. Fallout 4, however, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one, actually. Let me flip this over to dark mode so this is a little bit easier to see. Fallout 4 is the kind of game that people will sit there and tell you they don't like. It's the Fallout game that I think gets the most flack, but it's the Fallout game I've put the most time into. When this came out, I had kind of missed the boat on Fallout 3. I've played Fallout 3. I do like Fallout 3. I've touched New Vegas, not enough, honestly. If it's in here, it's probably going to go and haven't played. But Fallout 4, I've played so much more of, because you're coming off that high of Skyrim, right? It's the next Bethesda game right after Skyrim. It was the first kind of Bethesda game I got to play that I sort of purchased myself. So that kind of has a lot of merit behind it. It was the first game I kind of played as an adult, first big game, I would say. And I've probably dumped 100 hours in this game easily. I've still never completed the main story because of just how expansive Fallout 4 is. Hell, we just saw news stories today, I think that... What was it? Let me go ahead and grab the Xbox Twitter account. We'll pull that up on the screen. But even the Xbox Twitter put out a little blurb today about how big Starfield is going to be. And, like, honestly, it reminded me just how big Fallout 4 even was. Like, they're just humongous games. Starfield. Maybe that's what I'll do. Starfield. I think it was their Twitter on Bethesda's side. There we go. Is this what I wanted? This might not be it either. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
A lot of dialogue. But we've gone through it, and the
Cool. Okay. Here, I'll put this right up here, right center stage. So the Starfield Twitter account put out a video. It's on YouTube and stuff. Actually, you know what? We might pull that up and watch that because I'm a little excited about Starfield. I haven't sat down and watched this 5-minute piece. But this is just a quick, like, the number of dialogue lines. You look at Skyrim, you look at Fallout 4, and how much that expanded on that style of game. Fallout 4 is double the size when it comes to those dialogue lines. And then you look at Starfield, which then takes that and bumps it up another 1.5, 150% larger. That's crazy. It is, 5 times more dialogue than Skyrim, roughly. And that doesn't even count what they're probably going to do for DLC. Like, this is all said and done going to be a huge game. So I am excited for Starfield, but we're not there. We're not talking about Starfield right now. We're talking about Fallout 4. And I think, if I'm honest with myself, Fallout 4 is a great game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's definitely on the list. I would probably even state that it's in my top 100, which is kind of my end goal right now. is to get this list to 100. I have 73 games in there. I don't think Dance Central, I don't even think Dance Central 2 is going to stick in this top 100. I'll probably bump Peggle down as well. I think Peggle 2 is better. Destiny might move a little bit. These were kind of the last like games that I just threw on here. But Fallout 4, I'm gonna stick it in this B tier. I think it's a great game. I think it's one of the best. And it's approaching that A tier for me. I have not played 2K18 that I'm aware of. Horizon 4 is an A tier? S tier game. What am I doing? Horizon 4 is awesome. If you haven't played the Horizon series, if you have a PC or you have an Xbox, and specifically if you have Game Pass, you need to launch the Horizon games. They're so expansive. They're so much fun. They're not even really racing games. I don't think you can really consider them racing games at this point. Yes, the core mechanic, the core idea of the game is you're racing cars around vast open worlds. And that's the big pull. But I've seen a lot of kind of outlets and a lot of people I respect in the industry describe the Horizon series more as driving games now rather than racing games. Because while, yes, you race, there's so much more to do in these games than race. So much more. Like, you're sitting here. Give me 1 second. Let me turn down some things on my side. Maybe. You are... Oh. Okay, I think we're okay. Weird. That was interesting. You are playing... Everything's breaking on me really quick. Oh boy. You're playing in a big sandbox of a world that the Playground Games team have kind of created over and over again. I think that the least impressive version of this game is the first one. You're in the Red Rocks, you're in Colorado, which is awesome. That's my backyard. I'm literally in Denver. So that was an awesome location to see kind of as their first jaunt into that open world racing game genre. But then the moment you got to Italy, the moment we got to Horizon 2, this series showed exactly what it can do. The initial draw of the game used to be it's racing versus the music culture, and kind of them coming together for this big Horizon festival. The first game captures that so well. I think the second one kind of loses that. Third one catches it again. Fourth one, I still think has a lot of good music and versus car culture kind of stuff. Fifth one, I don't think we focus too much on the music anymore, but I think the fifth one is the best in the series. I think 3 has the best map. Australia is the best location for me. Before they're 3, 4, and 5 are just S tier experiences. So there's that. That's up here. Breath of the Wild, I would also put an S. I can even see it going down to A for some people. I think that the shrines get a little repetitive in some people's head. Of course, the Korok seeds are super repetitive and provide no in-game reward. So, some folks didn't care for that. But Breath of the Wild being the first Switch game that you saw launch, this game defined the Switch. This game defined that generation of gaming for those folks that picked up a Switch day one, or even in the first 3 years. I think you look at Zelda and you look at Super Mario Odyssey, and those are your defining moments for that Switch in that first opening launch year. For good reason. These are phenomenal games, and Zelda Breath of the Wild might be the series at its best. I still personally like Majora's Mask more. I've actually got Majora's Mask as my number 1 game of all time, and currently the next Zelda game is in 17th place with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Then Breath of the Wild, down here in 36th place. I don't know why I actually have it this low. That doesn't make sense to me. I'll need to adjust that. But actually, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that now. That's weird. We'll come back to that. It is an S tier experience. So there it is. Bloodborne haven't played. Dishonored, haven't played. Dishonored, Death of the Outrider, have not played. Unity, haven't played that. Assassin's Creed 2 I have played, probably put that in the C tier at the moment. Revelations, I put that in a B tier. These might be interchangeable, honestly. They might even be in the same kind of category. I do like the Assassin's Creed series, and if Revelations is on here, I would assume Brotherhood is on here. Brotherhood goes higher. Brotherhood's my favorite game in that series. But once I finish the Call of Duty campaign, it's my plan is to actually go through on stream and play the Assassin's Creed games. So if you're here, make sure you're subscribed to stay with that when we get to those streams. Have not played Origins. Dota 2, right? That's Dota? I think this is Dota. I'm assuming it's Dota. I'm going to put it here. Dying Light series, I have not played. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a weird one. I'm going to put it in A tier. This game is too big. This game is too big. That's a good thing. It's good to have large games. You are constantly being, as a gamer these days, you are constantly in this fight of what can I play? Do I have time to play it? What's the new game coming out? What's demanding my attention? What's respecting my time? Where do I want to put my time, my money, anything like that? Who gets my attention? It's a big struggle for gamers now. It's a struggle I face. I've gotten a lot better, especially this year. I focused a lot on playing new games and coming out of my comfort zone, purchasing games more, utilizing Game Pass to its kind of full extent. Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out, I think, in 2019, right? 2018? I think it was 18, yeah, because it fought God of War. It's just so much. And it is a gorgeous experience. It is a well-written story. It's a well-performed story. I think Arthur Morgan is a very engaging character. It's such a lived-in world. It's such an experienced reality. But for me, I fell off of it. I never went back. I never got through the story. It was so long. And like hell, it's like, don't take my word for it, right? Like we go to How Long to Beat. We look up Red Dead Redemption. You have the first game clocked at 27 hours for kind of a full experience. And the second game is clocked at 80. Right? The main fucking story in Red Dead Redemption 2 is as long as it took people to complete Red Dead Redemption 1. This game is huge, and I just didn't have the time for it. That's the only knock that I have against it. It's probably the only reason I don't have it in that S tier, because for me, it's not what I was looking for at the time. Also, I love Undead Nightmare, and that should probably get its own spot on the list. But we'll move on. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I'm going to also put in an A tier. This is a wonderful experience. This is a wonderful game. Respawn Entertainment, if you're not aware, they are, of course, the developer that did Apex Legends. They're the developer that did Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They are the Titanfall devs. And that team was originally crafted from the old Infinity Ward team. The folks that actually created Call of Duty and before that created Medal of Honor. This team knows how to make a phenomenally engaging, driving story. It's why people were so upset Titanfall 1 didn't have a main story or a main campaign to play through. It's why Titanfall 2 is the best first-person shooter campaign of all time. They came in to Star Wars ready to show what they could do. Cal Kestis is a wonderful, wonderful character that really feels like somebody... He really fits his role in that universe. And the way that they combine, of course, all the teachings from games like Uncharted and such, this is the Star Wars game that I think people should play. Battlefront 2 is a wonderful multiplayer experience. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a wonderful story experience. And this is from a guy who did not get to complete it yet. A tier. If Braden were here, he would yell at me and say it goes S tier. And I am not going to argue that. It probably does. If I was to finish that story, I'm sure I might move it up. Blood and Bacon. Weird. I have not played Broforce. Car Mechanic Simulator, haven't played. I also don't have experience with the Far Cry series. The most I have is Far Cry 6 when that came for free earlier this year. For like a weekend, I hopped on and played like maybe 6 or so hours of that, and it was pretty fun. Hotline Miami is a game that I have on Steam that I've never actually played. Space Program haven't played. I will knock Lego Marvel Superheroes down here. Lego Harry Potter, years 1 through 4. I'm not seeing years 5 through 7, but that's okay. I'm going to take years 1 through 4. We're going to hop that up here in A. This is a great game. If you like Harry Potter, it's phenomenal. If you like Lego, it's phenomenal. If you were a kid, and fuck, even if you're not, even if you're just like, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, maybe you've got your own kids, play this game with them. Like, this is such a fun experience if you like Harry Potter. It's so cute and charming. It's in my opinion, Tall Tales? Lego games. There is Wikipedia. Do I have... I do not. Wait, hold on. Lego Harry Potter. Traveler's Tales. TT. That's what I did. That's what I did wrong. Traveler's Tales, I think, is a great developer, and they know Lego, and they know how to make a charming experience for folks. I have not had the pleasure of playing Skywalker Saga yet. Oh, sorry. That was a video. Honestly, a lot of their games go in the A tier for me, maybe the B tier. I might even actually put Lego Harry Potter down in the B tier. This is just a charming experience I think everybody should play. Grand Theft Auto 5 is an S tier. That one's pretty simple, pretty easy. If you have not played Grand Theft Auto 5, I would encourage you to do so. Complete Saga probably also goes in B tier. My experience with the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga was on the DS and the PS2. I played so much more of the DS. I think it's a game that I did complete as a kid. Got all the gold bricks, got all the... I can't remember what the hell they're called, but it was their kind of version of the missing students from Lego Harry Potter. Wonderful, wonderful game. I think, again, just like a Lego Harry Potter, just a fun experience for you. Haven't played Lego Star Wars 3, which I think is the Clone Wars. Don't know what that is. Mad Max. Ooh. That's one that I don't know if I have on this list. Hold on. Mad Max. That is on the list. Alright. Wow. Man, oh man. Give me 1 second to do this really quickly. Done. Okay, cool. Gonna add another rule here. Nope, not what I wanted. Custom formula is... We're going to go with J. I want that to flash red at me. There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry. Just doing some back-end stuff for my list. Mad Max is right there. Cool. So now if I put Mad Max in this list, that should show red, which tells me it's a duplicate. I am concerned that it's putting it one above. There we go. Formulas are weird, man. Anyway, Mad Max is great. Mad Max is a game... I keep doing that. I'm putting it in A tier. Mad Max is a game that I got slept on in the Xbox One, PS4 generation. If I'm not mistaken, it came out the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5. So, of course, nobody picked this one up. But it's a mix of, like, the Arkham mechanics combat-wise. And it's this vast, open desert experience. It's from the Avalanche team. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the same Avalanche team that did the Just Cause series. There's, like, 3 Avalanche studios. Avalanche... Mad Max... Okay, so it's this Avalanche Studios team. And it's either the Rage 2 team, or this is... Yeah, okay. So this... Yes, this is the Just Cause team. Mad Max is awesome. It's a wonderful experience from a great developer. It's from the developer that did that's doing Contraband. They did Rage 2, Just Cause 4, 3, Renegade Ops, Just Cause 1 and 2. This was them kind of stepping out of that Just Cause series and making something that, for lack of a better term, is more grounded. You could argue that the Just Cause games kind of starred Mad Max as a character, but this is The Wasteland. This is dystopia, and it's done so fucking well. They are a developer that took a deserted landscape, and made it an exciting, lived-in, breathing world. How the fuck do you do that with a desert? That's insane. But they did, and it's awesome. And it fucking rocked my world when I picked it up. So yeah, that's an A tier. Octodad is good. I'll probably put it in the D. It's a joke of a game. It was made for streamers. Nothing against the developer. I probably might even put it in C because honestly, this is a game that was of the times. It was 13, 14, YouTube, 12 maybe. Octodad is hilariously just dumb. It's 2010. Yeah, it's so of the time. It was made to be annoying. It was made to be a weird game. And folks liked it. I played it and then stopped playing it because I wasn't a YouTuber trying to make content. It's not a game that you need to play. Just a fun, cute, silly experience. Postal, I don't know who's actually played the Postal series. I haven't. PUBG, I have only played one game of PUBG. I'm not going to rank that. Sniper Elite 3 is great. I'm going to put it in the B tier. Actually, I'm going to put it in the C tier. I like 4 more. It's a good... honestly, every one of these games is great. Unless I'm putting something in an F tier, you should play these games. But Sniper Elite 3, for me, the 4th just built upon that series a little bit more. This is coming off of the success that was Sniper Elite 2. 2 was huge. 2 was insane. And then we got to Africa with 3, and yes, I think it was a more well put together game. Of course, it certainly looked better. They finally had a fucking budget, but I think 4 is where the series kind of realized what it was, and 5 built even more on that. So we'll see if those are on this list. South Park Stick of Truth is an S tier game. Boom, right there. I think currently I have it in my top 10. No, it's in my top 22. God, there's so many games. South Park Stick of Truth is a wonderful experience that you need to play if you are in any way, shape, or form a fan of the South Park series. I love this game. This is one of the funniest video games I've ever played in my life. And if you've played video games, you know humor is hard to get right? The player has so much agency, they can skip right over jokes so easily. South Park kind of forces the jokes in there. It hits you over the head with them, much like a Sunset Overdrive does or a Stanley Parable does. The jokes are intrinsic to the story. You cannot get through that story without hearing the jokes. And it's the ridiculous situations that you're put in, right? Watching your parents have sex, the escapade into Canada, for example. Just a wonderfully creative game that I think Obsidian is overlooked for. I've slowly started to realize how much I love Obsidian as a developer. Especially now, after playing Grounded for even the 6 or so hours we did on stream the other day. I think that South Park The Stick of Truth was my first introduction to Obsidian and the best one you can have to what that team can do. They took South Park, made it look like the show, and play like a game. And I think it worked really well. Of course, credit to Trey Stone and Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Wow. I should know their names, but they of course wrote the majority of that game, I'm sure, and did all of the voice acting that they do on the show. This was a season of the show, and it was crazy to see that on a console, and without the barriers of a TV network telling them what they can and cannot do. This was raunchy as fuck, hilarious as could be, and it pushed boundaries. It's an S tier. Don't know. Have not played the Uncharted series. Definitely played Trove. I think I've seen Zombie Army 4. We Were Here Forever. Ooh, Call of Duty. Okay. I think I have this in a B tier currently on my Call of Duty tier list. I'm going to put it in a B tier here as well. This is a really solid first-person shooter experience. This was Infinity Ward's first take in Call of Duty. They were coming right off of that Medal of Honor kind of series and all of the legal issues they had with EA. Activision picked them up and said, hey, make a game for us, redo Medal of Honor, be successful again. And fucking hell, they did. They absolutely did it again. Again, this is the same team that moved on to be Respawn Entertainment, making Jedi Fallen Order and Apex Legends and Titanfall. Their first entry in the Call of Duty series was great. I just played it on stream. It was actually over on the Twitch channel before I switched over to YouTube streaming. So if you want, there are VODs of that. I'm creating a video that details my experience with Call of Duty. But this was a very solid, wonderful experience, especially when you go into it knowing that it's from 2003. What they pulled off in 2003 was awesome. B tier. Do not know much about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, let alone the game, so I'm going to put that down there. Ooh, Underground. That's an A tier. And then Carbon is a C tier. I love Need for Speed Underground. It's probably still my favorite Need for Speed game. Most Wanted 2005 definitely, gives it a run for its money. But I think that Underground is my favorite just because of nostalgic reasons. It was the first kind of racing game that I got to play on a PS2 that had those cutting-edge graphics, right? The neon lights. It gave you that racing culture. It came out around the time that Fast and Furious was just dominating my mindscape, especially. So Underground is great. A little basic. It is a track racer rather than like an open world Most Wanted or something like that, or even Underground 2. You are set on predetermined races. You don't get to run around the city. But even still, the amount of fun I had, the drift mode, I think this is probably the best handling the series has ever seen. Even with the tweaks and the way that sequels always make things better, I still go back to this if I want to have a solid racing experience. That's Underground. That's an A tier. Carbon, C tier, only because I know that I would put Most Wanted in B, and I think Carbon, while still a good experience, just does a little bit too much. They focus on the 4 factions, the 4 areas. You have your 4 kind of canyon races, if you will, that are sort of the pinnacle boss fights of your game, of your experience and your story. And it's fine. It's just, it's a C tier. It's cool. You're good. C tier is fine. Moving on. Haven't played Fear? I have, but 20 fucking years ago. But don't remember anything of it. Doom Eternal probably would rank pretty high. I haven't finished Doom, so I'm not going to rank that. Don't know about Shadow of Mordor. Again, don't know about Uncharted. There you go. There's your first D tier. We'll move on. Blacklist, I've played, but not enough. Assassin's Creed, I have played, and I would probably put that below AC2 in the C tier. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Assassin's Creed 2 is a B tier. I'm crazy. There you go. Bad Company 2 is either an A or a B, and I'm probably leaning more towards B. Now, this was one of the first stories I got to experience in a first-person shooter, and it was a great time. It's so well written. You have actual characters that you start to care about, that you're walking through this game with. The pacing of the campaign, I think, is wonderful. One thing that confused me was always not knowing, because I was dumb and a kid, was this a World War II game, or was this a Modern Warfare game? And it turns out it's kind of just a Modern Warfare game. There's the Vietnam expansion, of course, but Bad Company 2, man, multiplayer was awesome for the time. Going back now, it's rough. Me and Aggression played about a 3 or so hour session, maybe a 2 hour session, I might be exaggerating. We played some games about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and it just doesn't hold up. I was getting nauseous playing Bad Company 2. It's certainly a first-person shooter of its own time, of its own snapshot. Nothing against what it accomplished. I think this is the game that put Battlefield on the map for anybody who was a Call of Duty kid. You knew what Bad Company 2 was, and there's a reason you were excited for Battlefield 3. It was Bad Company 2. I just wish that when we went back it was a better experience. But it's still a B-tier game. It still did so much for the industry, so much for my mindset as a gamer. And it was a great story overall. I did enjoy Bad Company too. Not so big on the DMC series, haven't really played it. Played Fable 3, have not played Fable Anniversary. Haven't touched the Metro series yet. I have both of them. And then, of course, Exodus came out, and I think that might still be on Game Pass. But I just haven't played these. I've read the books, if that counts. Well, that's alright. Mini Ninjas, don't know. Also, don't feel comfortable ranking Beyond Gotham, so I'm going to put that there. Paladin, I'm going to put in here. Force Unleashed 2, I'm going to put in here. It's a game that I have played, but not enough of, and so long ago. We're just putting a lot of games in this I don't know section. We're just going to toss a couple of these in here, start to fill out. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Okay. Why that took me a little bit to think about. San Andreas, I think. San Andreas is weird because I have played San Andreas, but I've started that game six times and gotten like 3 or 4 hours in each time. Then I just stop and I forget about it, and then I feel like I have to restart each time that I go back. So, you know, we'll come back at some point to that, I'm sure. Man, this person like has some eclectic gaming taste, which is awesome to see. I've played Batman 2. Don't feel comfortable rating it. I've played Sekiro. I've only played 3 hours of this game. I played off the hype, before the hype of Elden Ring, kind of leading into it, and then a little bit after. And we'll talk about Elden Ring, but Sekiro, I'm just not comfortable rating yet. Binding of Isaac, same thing. Arkham Knight, I'll leave there. Zero Dawn, haven't played much of. Of course, not the Uncharted series. God of War. This is the first one? Or 3, and I can't tell. This might even be 2. I really can't tell. If it was the first one and I knew for sure it was the first one, I would rate it, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. We are doing all of this. There we go. Now we're getting into some fucking... Yeah, this guy's got crazy taste. I haven't played the Borderlands series enough. Don't feel comfortable rating it. I did not want to do that to John. I think he'd get mad at me. Okay, this is good. This is a good section. We'll go from here. That works. That works, fam. Okay. One second. Let me check the stream stuff, guys. Sorry. Okay. Cool. We're good. All right. Let's start from down here. Black Ops 3. God, this haven't played section's huge. I should probably just delete the entire thing. Black Ops 3 is an A tier. I almost want to give it an S tier. It's my favorite Call of Duty game at the moment. We have not played Modern Warfare 2, but even knowing what I know about that game, I don't see that one being an S tier. Do not see it being above Black Ops 4, and I'm leaving Black Ops 4 in the S tier. Zombies. I like Black Ops 4 Zombies. I know the community that is the Zombies community does not like Black Ops 4. I do. I think it's a great experience. I think it's something that you have to play to really appreciate the full circle that is Cold War Zombies, which is also a great experience. I never understood the hatred that Black Ops 4 got. I saw the criticism. I heard the criticism. Every point of it. I've seen every TLXify video that you can. I've seen every Raffle Waffles video that you can. I know every person in that community hates Black Ops 4. Maybe not Lex, but I don't. I think this gave us the best starting map, the best launch map in the entire series with 9. I think that Blood of the Dead is a totally totally great experience. I think the hatred that people put on Blood of the Dead is because they had expectations. They wanted it to be a strict Mob of the Dead remaster, and of course that wasn't going to happen. They had a story to tell. They have licenses to worry about. They have a community of fans that don't... You don't know if something's going to be your new game until you play your new game, right? You don't know if it's going to be your new favorite until you get there. You didn't know Black Ops 2 was the defining experience of Call of Duty until you got Black Ops 2. And people just went into Black Ops 4 with these huge expectations, and in some cases, people were just already hitting it because they knew it wasn't going to be Black Ops 2, or it wasn't going to be Black Ops 3 Zombies. I think Black Ops 4 is great. I think its Zombies is solid. I think its multiplayer is the most fleshed out, solid experience that we've ever had. Camo challenges, the prestige system, the integration with Battle Pass. This was what I think they should have done with Call of Duty when we got to Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare changed the entire system, changed the entire game, and then of course we had a pandemic which fucked everything else. Black Ops 4 did what needed to be done for the Call of Duty series and was completely ignored by that community. It was completely ignored by Activision. And it's unfortunate. I think Blackout is a much more engaging experience than Warzone is when you look at it from a battle royale perspective. Warzone is so TDM, Warzone is so free-for-all, and Blackout was so battle royale. Blackout was so driven by your PUBG and your Fortnite craze and your Apex craze. Warzone is its own kind of game mode. I still kind of feel that way about it. Blackout's the better experience, and I think Braden would agree with me any day of the week. Elden Ring. I haven't finished Elden Ring. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna put it in A tier for now. Haven't finished it. I've already got it ranked on my all-time list. I think I have it pretty high too. Maybe I don't? Whoa. Oh yeah, I do. 24th place. Elden Ring is awesome. Elden Ring is a great time. I think you have to play Elden Ring. I think you have to play Elden Ring if you've never played a FromSoft game. And if you have played a FromSoft game, you might not like Elden Ring. That's kind of what I've noticed. In my assessment of the media, if you like FromSoft, you might not like Elden Ring. It's too different from those games. It's not this boss run experience that Bloodborne was, or that Dark Souls was, or that even Sekiro was. Elden Ring is an open experience. It is an experience where you can do anything you want to, much like a Breath of the Wild. You can just immediately go for something and fucking get there. It's a great, beautifully crafted experience. Being a high fantasy story, it was kind of right up my alley. I have always loved high fantasy. I've just never delved into high fantasy. It's kind of a guilty pleasure that I don't dwell on, or I don't delve into enough. I think the mechanics of this game work great. I think that the way that this game caught fire proves just how good it is. I think if you have people that say that it's overrated, those people weren't paying attention and they just wanted to be different and have a stupid different opinion. It's not overrated. It's perfectly well rated. I think it deserves all the praise it got. Even if it's not your cup of tea, you cannot diminish what this game has done and how well crafted and put together it is. A tier. Black Ops 3 could also be an S tier game. I'm gonna put it in A. I'm gonna put it top of A. This is probably my favorite. It's definitely my favorite jetpack game of the three: Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Advanced Warfare. This game hits zombies like no other game ever has. I fell off of this game. Not because of the way that this game plays, not because of anything like that, not an opinion-based thing or anything like that. I fell off this game because I had a lot of things happen in my life during its release and then post-release. So I just stopped playing Call of Duty. I stopped playing, I think, 3 or 4 months into the life cycle. And then I didn't pick up Call of Duty again until World War II, until after Infinite Warfare. Going back and playing Black Ops 3, the only mark you can really put against it is the campaign. And even then, I'm having fun with the campaign as I'm replaying these games right now. It helps that you can play it with co-op. That's an awesome feature that I wish Call of Duty did more, but I know it'll never happen. Black Ops 3 was the predecessor to Black Ops 4 in so many ways. You saw them utilize co-op, and then when you found those leaked files and those leaked images and videos and gameplay of the Black Ops 4 campaign that would have been, Black Ops 3 paved the way to get there, and I just wish they would have figured it out and had the opportunity and not been fucked. But this is a solid jetpack experience, a great zombies experience, super solid. Pardon me. Multiplayer, sweet. Maps were all great. Gunplay was, of course, fantastic. It's a Treyarch game. It's a Call of Duty game. My only kind of knock against it is the visuals. I think that visually it's not the best presented. You go back and you play this game, it's just got a lot of Vaseline. It's the way that I look at it, at least. So, A tier. Still wonderful. Black Ops is S. Moving on. Not justifying that one. You can kiss my ass. Skyrim is also an S tier. I'll be upfront about Black Ops. This is probably the most well-rounded experience that you've ever had. The reason I say that is because Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, didn't have a story. It had its weird, like, round-based, free-for-all-esque learn the operators mode. Specialist mode, I think is what they called it. Not the best experience as a solo player. Super monotonous, super boring. I'm not looking forward to playing it, actually, when we get to its time during my replays. Black Ops, on the other hand, is my favorite campaign. Black Ops is the best story that I think has come out of Call of Duty. It is Treyarch's second attempt at the series. They took what they learned in World at War, which is also a great story. They took what Infinity War did with Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, where they took liberties and started to tell their own story. Black Ops did the same thing in this historical setting, which was not something we really thought could happen. When you look at the Call of Duty series, it was World War II. It was predetermined events. It was established historical stories that Call of Duty just kind of had to nestle itself into. You had to pick the winning side and play as that. Black Ops, on the other hand, gets its tension from the unknown, if that makes sense. In the same way that your Modern Warfare series did, where you didn't have a predetermined story, you got to write your own ending, you got to write your own conflict. Black Ops did the same thing, and I think focusing on one character in Mason was the best option they had, and made that a memorable experience. You weren't just playing a shooter. You weren't just playing a Call of Duty game. You were Alex Mason fighting for your life. And it was great. Zombies. This is some of my favorite Zombies maps. Yes, I was a child, so yes, nostalgia kind of comes in here. I did hold the opinion that Kino der Toten was the best map. It's not. I recognize that. I think Origins is the best map. But Kino, 5, Ascension, Call of the Dead, all of those maps, including Shangri-La and Moon, were such love letters to that mode and to the fans that liked that mode. They just kept pushing. Then you had multiplayer, which I think was innovative in the cloud point system, in the party game system. Black Ops is an S-tier game. We'll move on to Skyrim. Skyrim is also phenomenal. Skyrim is a game that everybody knows it. If you haven't played it, you know somebody who has. You know that experience lasts the test of time and will last the test of time, right? It's memed to all hell. You heard about this game even if you weren't playing it, and if you didn't play when it came out in the 15 years since it released, 10 years since it released rather, you've played it because it hit every system. It was on fucking Alexa devices. you've played Skyrim. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why it's an S tier, apart from Bethesda just knowing how to craft a world, knowing how to craft an experience that you can do anything in. You can, the moment you get out of that kind of tutorial-esque area, right, the moment you fight your first dragon, after that, once you get that standing stone, that world is yours. It's so beautiful, it's so gorgeous, it's so well crafted. Very big fan of Skyrim. I actually think I have it relatively high. It was our number 3 game of the decade, if I'm not mistaken, on our list. I could check, I suppose. It was our... Yeah, actually it was our second game. Portal 2 was number 3. For me, I have it in 5th place. Sniper Elite 4, I put 3 in the C tier or the B tier. C tier, and I think Sniper Elite 4 is B. It's my favorite experience there. Ah, yes. Need for Speed the Run can go fuck itself. Need for Speed the Run. So when I get to, I have a whole list. I have a whole plan in my head. Once we get through a Call of Duty, we're going to move to Assassin's Creed on stream. Then we're going to move to BioShock, and then eventually we're going to get to Need for Speed. When we get to Need for Speed the Run, I am honestly not joking. I might just not play this one. This was the worst experience I've ever had with a Need for Speed game. It was touted as the change that this series needed. It was shown off numerous times as this bombastic experience that was going to blow your mind as a Need for Speed fan. And fuck this fucking game. This fucking game was so fucking shit. Nobody likes this game. It didn't run well. On a 360 that was an established console, this game was horribly optimized. Your load times took longer than the races themselves. And what made that worse was they didn't have barriers when you would like go off the racetrack, go off the street that you were on. Instead of fucking barriers, they had these just ghosted arrows that you could drive right through. And if you drove through them, the game would reset. It would take you back to a checkpoint or to the start of the race. And that load time, I'm not fucking kidding, to get you reset in the race, there were times where that took longer than the entire race would have. If you would have just let me back the fuck up and retry, that would have been faster. Terribly optimized game. The story was honestly uninspired. It was the same old fucking thing that you'd seen in shitty action movies. And you know that because it was directed by Michael Bay. This was a fucking game directed by Michael Bay. I should have known this was going to be shit. I should not have expected this game. I should not have paid $60 fucking for this experience. And I did. And I don't think anybody ever will again. And I'm thankful for that. Fuck the run, dude. Oh. Resident Evil 2, the remake. I'm putting it in A tier. I haven't finished it, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's fucking A tier. Could be an S. Payback. Need for Speed Payback. So, the run happened, and I think actually killed the fucking franchise. Need for Speed. I think that Shift 2 came out after the run. Let's see here. No, Most Wanted came out after that. Wow, holy fuck. Okay. So Need for Speed The Run happened and was a terrible fucking time. Let me just look to see if anybody else has my experience that I have. It was the last black box game, if I'm not mistaken. Because Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 was Criterion. Yeah, it was the last black box game. It killed Black Box Studios, which was fucking terrifying. Okay, so I got 60s across the board. Got a C+ from 1UP. 8 out of 10 from Games Radar. Go fuck yourself. Game Trailers gave it an 8.4. Go fuck yourself. Here we go. The Edge gave it a 3 out of 10. IGN, 6.5 out of 10. Those are respectable scores. Fucking 8? Are you fucking joking me? Oh no. Let's see here. You didn't get the crew until you got the run, to be fair. That's the one thing I'll give Need for Speed The Run, is it inspired the crew to be made, where you had this vast open United States world to go drive through. Because that was also the selling point of The Run, and then it turned out you couldn't fucking do that. I fucking hate that game, dude. I'm not looking forward to playing it. What were we talking about? What was the last game? Payback. That's right. So after The Run killed the franchise, we got Need for Speed, the remake, 2015. They just called it Need for Speed. It was supposed to be this return to form, and it really wasn't. It was, I don't want to say uninspired, because it was very inspired. It was a very stylistic game. It was supposed to be modeled after that Underground series, right? The Underground 2 game in particular, I think, is where they really pull a lot of inspiration from. And I didn't care for it much. The FMV pulled me out of the game where other games kind of do it well. I don't think Need for Speed did. The handling of that game, I think, is atrocious. I also, honestly, I hate the Frostbite engine. I've always hated the Frostbite engine. I think it's fine in Battlefield, but if you take that Frostbite engine and you put it anywhere else, it doesn't work. It's not optimized for other experiences. It's certainly not optimized for racing games. And you were forced to use it as Criterion. You were forced to use it as Ghost Games. You were forced to use it as Black Box, if I'm not mistaken. This was powered by DICE's Frostbite 2 engine. What was Most Wanted using? Because I don't think it was Frostbite. No, I do not, in fact, believe it was Frostbite. And 2012 Frostbite. Yeah. No, it is not using Frostbite. Let me put a tweet on here. Let's see if that tweet's still up. This one is powered by an evolved Chameleon engine from Hot Pursuit. Yep, that's why The Run sucked, and that's why fucking every other game... I'm so mad right now. I shouldn't be talking about this. It's just upsetting me. So, The Run had Frostbite. Rivals had Frostbite. Need for Speed had Frostbite. All terrible. All terrible experiences. Then we get to Payback. And Payback from Ghost Games was an interesting experience. This was on Frostbite 3. And I fucking love Payback. I don't know what it was about Need for Speed Payback, but they took the mishaps from The Run, they took the things that I didn't care for in Need for Speed 2015, and they reinvented it. They put it in the daylight, which I think I prefer. I could see my car, I could see the road, it was good. It looked great. And I think the world of Payback, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what county it is, I don't want to misrepresent the game. Payback was in... Where's Payback? Fortune Valley. Payback's great. Fortune Valley is a really good setting. It's a really great map. I think it had appealing characters. I think the story, yes, it was Fast and Furious. Yes, we had seen it before. But it worked. We hadn't seen it in a video game done well, right? The Fast and Furious games fucking suck. Payback's great. I'm putting it in a B tier. I'm talking a lot. I've already been streaming for a fucking hour. Hardline. Battlefield Hardline. C tier. I would even see a B. I think that Hardline is a game that online people don't like it. On the internet, people do not care for this game. I liked Hardline. I thought the cops and robbers stuff was a really inventive way to change up the Battlefield kind of formula and set it apart from something like Call of Duty, who I think at the time we had seen Ghosts from them, and then I think it was Black Ops 3 around the same time. Battlefield Hardline 2015. Yeah, so we would have seen this was right after Advanced Warfare that Hardline came out. So you got to really set yourself apart from this game that was about power, right? This game that was about the future. You went to kind of modern day again, and you did Cops and Robbers instead. And I think this is a wonderful story. I think this story is great. Shout out to Tom Bussell and Rob Otten. I think it's Otten. I may be mispronouncing that. I've never gotten it right. It's either Otten or Oten. But they wrote this story tremendously. Made me care about characters. The ending was extremely predictable. Most video game endings can be. I understand that. But I think Battlefield Hardline did a great job attempting to shake the formula. So I'm going to put it in C tier. I've talked myself into that. Fortnite. I've played a little bit of, and I'm going to rank it C tier. It's fine. Totally fine. Totally enjoyable experience. I won, what was it? I think me and Ryan and Braden won 5 of our 6 games that we played. Got first place. My knock against Fortnite is that it's super boring. And it might just be that we weren't in good lobbies. It might be that we had just started, so skill-based matchmaking hadn't really ramped up yet. We may have been playing with bots for all I fucking know. But it was a fine experience. You could tell it's a really well-crafted game. Of course, it took the world by storm. It's the biggest game in the world still to this day. It is up there with Minecraft, I think, as a game that will stand the test of time. Just not for me. Not for me. C tier. Burnout Dominator. I'm also going to put in C tier. Totally fine. Totally good Burnout game. I think Paradise gets it right. I think Burnout Revenge is better than Dominator, but still a good game. COD 4. Putting it in B tier. This was the game that put Call of Duty on the map for a lot of people, right? It was the first console experience that players had with online multiplayer that wasn't Halo. Yes, you had Call of Duty 2. Yes, you had Call of Duty 3. People didn't fucking play those games. Those were not hugely high-selling performing games on the system on 360 or on PS3. Actually, I don't think Call of Duty 2 was on PS3 at all. Call of Duty 3 was for sure, but COD 4 changed first-person shooters, changed multiplayer shooters, changed the way that we looked at single-player campaigns in shooters. You know, people for a very long time have said that multiplayer has ruined shooters, and I think COD 4 proved that that was not the case. You still get the ability to focus on your story and create a great experience as a developer, even with multiplayer. And you can even focus on both and make both tremendous. I do not care for COD 4's multiplayer. It is in the B tier simply on the merit of its single-player game. I love that story. That's a memorable campaign that I am looking forward to replaying here soon. So I'm putting it in B. I think it's a great time, and I think anybody who plays any shooter in any point in their life can give COD 4 a chance and have a great time. Dead Space is an A-tier game. Dead Space 2, also an A-tier game. I racked my brain on whether I like Dead Space 1 or 2 more. I think 1 is a little bit more nostalgic, a little bit more original and fresh for me, so I prefer it over 2. I think 2 also is just a little bit too long. But Dead Space was like the second horror experience that I had as a gamer. Resident Evil 4 was the first one. Resident Evil 4 is phenomenal and is an S-tier game in my opinion. Dead Space came through and did the exact same thing in space, which was a really cool setting to be in. This is a game that I don't want to spoil too much of, but the lore in this game is really what ties you through, what tied me through, rather. Going from Dead Space to Dead Space 2, wonderful. Wonderful experience. To just have the lore build up in 1 and then paid off in 2. I've never played 3, I'm not going to comment on it, but Dead Space is scary. Dead Space is terrifying. Dead Space is so well designed. It's got this unique identity to it. When you see Dead Space on screen, you know it's Dead Space. You don't question, oh, what game is this? Which Call of Duty is this? You know what Dead Space is. You know Isaac's suit. You recognize that health bar on the back of his pack there. It's RPG elements were the first time I was like, oh fuck, upgrading this shit's awesome. Let's keep doing that. Okay, yeah, let's put things here. Let me focus on this gun. Dead Space is great. A tier. Need for Speed Most Wanted. S? A? S? Is it above or below Underground? A. I don't think the Need for Speed games were ever S-tier games. I don't know if they ever will be. We're looking at Unbound right now, and again, it's on the Frostbite engine, so who knows. But Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 was a definitive experience for anybody who had a PlayStation 2, anybody who had an Xbox 360. This was the racing game to have at that time. This took all the learnings from each of the previous Most Wanted games. Need for Speed games. You took Underground 2, you took Underground, you took Hot Pursuit, you took every experience from Need for Speed and what the Burnout series was doing, and you put it in an open world like you had with Underground 2. You put it in the daytime. You had a huge emphasis on cops. You had a huge emphasis on that pursuit system. The story was, albeit simple, really engaging, and really it powered you through. You wanted to be the best. You wanted to knock out every person on that blacklist. Most Wanted, I think, is a super solid experience. Hell, I don't even know if this was I can't remember if this was in Carbon, so maybe I'm misspeaking, but the slowdown mechanic, I don't think we've actually seen that in the game since Most Wanted. It made this experience for me. To just stop time and flip your car around in the middle of a pursuit made you feel so badass. A tier. Prototype. C. Prototype is a good game. Prototype is one of those games that's just an action-adventure kind of platformer-esque game set in, I believe, New York City. Some sort of New York-esque city. Prototype is a game about somebody who gets infected with a disease and essentially becomes a superhero or an anti-hero. And it was one of the first violent video games I'd ever seen. If I'm totally, what is the term? I'm remembering this and it's not real, but I can remember tearing people apart in this game, and it blew my mind and scared the shit out of me and grossed me out, and I loved it. So good, so engaging. I think that Prototype is a game that was slept on during this generation. Even though I say that, I'm constantly shocked by the people that talk about Prototype. Anytime that you see Game of the Year lists, or favorite games of all time ever mentioned, or just nostalgic conversations happen, Prototype gets brought up out of nowhere, and it always shocks me. It does terrify me, because the people that usually bring it up aren't good people. So, not great, I suppose. Maybe it was overtly violent, and I should have been concerned about the people that called it their favorite. But I think it's a really good experience. Is it worth replaying now? Not. So it's in C tier. Rocket League, B tier game. This game is great. This game does a lot for multiplayer experiences. I think that Rocket League esports is really fun to watch, super engaging as an esport. The team at Psyonix really, they had this idea. They made their first game, which I can't remember the name of it, but they made Rocket League, and then they were like, we can do that again. We can do that better. And then they actually made Rocket League. And the launch of this game was huge, right? It came out on PS Plus, so everybody on PlayStation had this game and got to play it and have a wonderful experience that you just don't see nowadays. You don't see those games come out and take fire the way that Rocket League did. I think the last game that did that was Fortnite. Before that, maybe Among Us. But Rocket League has the staying power that Among Us doesn't have. Rocket League has an esports scene. Rocket League is competitive as can be. Rocket League is a game that you can throw on with your friends and just have a good time with, and it's available everywhere. And it plays really well, and now it's free to play. I think Rocket League is a unique idea that it shocks me nobody really thought of it before. Soccer with your car. A fucking course. That's awesome. Outlast. We'll do like 3 more and then I'll stop there. Maybe I'll pick 3 just to end this. We'll do Outlast. We'll do Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Burnout Paradise, and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Outlast is also a B-tier game. This is a great horror experience. This is such a enthralling, terrifying, claustrophobic game. I love horror games. I hate horror movies. Outlast gave you this, I would say, cinematic experience and scared the shit out of you. It hit on the terrifying factor that was the setting, the enemies that you were kind of up against and hiding from and trying not to be taken by. On top of that, it had this ridiculous like bubble on YouTube. All the people I watched played this over and over. All the people that I paid attention to, they were streaming this all the time. People still stream Outlast. This game still comes up during October as a game that you need to play to be terrified. It's very well crafted. I think it's Red Barrel is the development team. Outlast is great. I'm putting it in B. Burnout Paradise is an A-tier experience. Right up there with your Most Wanted and your Underground. A wonderful open world racing game. Of course, Burnout series is known for its crashes. It's known for its intense engine kind of car destruction. And they put it in open world. They gave you a killer fucking soundtrack. DJ Atomica, I think he might not be Atomica in that game, but their DJ is also a big part of people's childhood that I don't think people remember. And the moment you pop in this game, the moment you turn it on, even the remaster, and you hear DJ Atomica's voice, you are brought right back. You are brought back to the time at which you played games, right? We talk about nostalgia a lot. We talk about Modern Warfare 2. That's a big one amongst my group right now. That game, if it came out, you would hate it. What you like about that game is not the game. What you like about that game is the experiences around you at that time, the people you were with, the fact that you didn't have stress from being an adult. Like, that's what you remember. Burnout Paradise is a nostalgic experience, but it's also just a well-crafted racing game. I think that Paradise City is a great setting. It's a really well-designed map. You have your quarry, you have the bluff, you have the boardwalk. Like, I'm just thinking of every single section of that map, and there's not a single bit of wasted space. The shortcuts were fun to find. It was collectathon kind of thing going on that you hadn't really seen in a racing game before, and that Forza Horizon took and ran with. Paradise is a wonderful experience that I think you should play still. Alright, 2 more. Cold War is a A-tier experience. I will not go into it. I will instead take some time to talk about Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which I'm putting in the high Bs. I think Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was this series at its best. Granted, I have not played Origins or later, I did not like Black Flag. I like Brotherhood. Brotherhood is my Assassin's Creed game of choice. This story pulled me through. Desmond and the Nolan North's voice acting and kind of personification of that character, Ezio as a character, it all worked so well together. This was also my first Assassin's Creed game, to be fair, so there might be bias there. Learning about the Templars for the first time, learning about this world that had been lived in for years already, really, like, I don't want to give away too much of this game. I think it's worth playing if you haven't. But I also think that maybe you should just pick up the Ezio trilogy. It's new. It's kind of all remastered. They work really well on new consoles. That gives you Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, which are the games that kind of defined Assassin's Creed for a couple of years. 2 and Brotherhood in particular. I think Revelations strays a little bit from what Brotherhood did. They try to be a little too different, in my opinion. But still good. Still a fine experience. I don't like Black Flag, but I know a lot of people really like Black Flag. I fucking hated the naval combat, personally, but this was great. That will kind of stop our list for the day. I'll try to save this where we're at. Brotherhood is on here twice, so that's interesting. So is Among Us. Did you just repeat games? Did you just make this a really long fucking list for no reason? What in the hell, dude? Save. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and save that. Random games. Thank you guys for watching. We're gonna pop off the stream here, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some dinner. So, yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.